Hi, my name is Shannon, and I'm Willamette Week's music and visual arts editor, here with another episode of Distant Voices. I'm here today with B. Thornton. They own Fat Fancy, which is a clothing consignment boutique here in Portland. B, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. So I imagine, well, it's a really hard time for any small business, but I imagine especially for consignment and fashion shops. And I wanted to start off by asking you about the GoFundMe that you launched last week for the store, which congratulations on like just making your goal today.
Thank you.
So what does that mean for the future of the store now that you've successfully completed that campaign?
Honestly, that was just a catch up. That was just a catch up. Because of COVID, I haven't been able to pay myself anything since like February, basically. Um, so I needed to go fund me so that I could keep my car, keep my house, and keep running Fat Fancy and not have to have the business pay my bills, this month because it can't. I know that there's a rent freeze right now, but we're behind a month in rent. That's just where it's at for, I think, me and a lot of other small business owners and boutique owners. We're all really just hanging on by our coat threads, and we're all having to pivot our businesses. So not only are we like losing our business, but we're also having to make these huge decisions and transitions to be able to stay relevant, to be able to stay shoppable and connected with our customers.
Right. So a good segue into a more lighter topic that I wanted to talk about. You guys have started doing wake and bake sales, which are just supremely delightful. So can you tell me about how you came up with the idea for those?
Well, I am a fine couture lover. I am a fine cannabis lover. And I thought what better than combining my favorite two things into a entertaining show where I make a fool out of myself and show you the coolest stuff that's coming to the shop each week. So on Instagram at 10 a.m. on Saturdays, we get up, we smoke a little weed or eat an edible or indulge in cannabis in some way, and then share the morning with our viewers. We encourage you to eat breakfast, drink your coffee, get a little stoned, and shop with us and just have fun. Even if you're not shopping, it's so fun just to be in the chat and like just have people to commune with when we don't really have a way to hang out with each other anymore.
It seems to me like you guys have a really dedicated local community following, but has now that you have this bigger online presence, have you been getting more like a bigger following from like outside of Portland?
Yes, absolutely. We are getting people from all over the world, literally. I'm trying to figure out a cheap way to ship all over the world because we've had people from all kinds of different countries all over America, Canada, just really wanting to shop with us because there are places in the world where there are clothing deserts for plus size people. If you're above a size 14 large, you might not be able to find a store to even shop in for 50 to 100 miles around you. And so, really, all you do have is the internet. Well, shopping online is mostly depressing, but when you get to shop with a small boutique like mine, you get to interact with people. There's a real person there, and it's like having in-person customer service without actually being in person. We even do virtual styling sessions for folks where we select a rack for you of the best things that have come into the shop in your size and then teach you how to style it. It's especially great for if you're in any kind of situation where you want a gender affirming wardrobe, because you can take those pieces and buy them. We'll ship them to you. Because I know for me, I'm trans, I'm not binary. I didn't really know how to style myself in my gender for a long time. And I think for a lot of trans people, we need help just deciding what we want to wear, how we want to wear it, trying new styles for the first time, stuff like that. So it's really fun to experiment and try your gender and see how clothing fits into that too.
You mentioned sort of like clothing deserts where you just can't find plus size clothing. Are there any sort of major clothing deserts that Fat Fancy has been catering to outside of Portland during the pandemic?
That's a good question. I hadn't really sat down and thought about where we were shipping the most packages to. I can tell you the one that sticks out in my mind is Rancho Cucamonga. I did not think that was a real place, and it really is.
Where is that?
I have no idea, but I shipped it there.
But it's here in the US
Yeah,
somewhere?
yeah.
Okay. What state is it in?
I want to say California, but I could be totally wrong.
Okay, interesting. um, so I'm curious if you've noticed like any trends and changes in the way that people are dressing during the pandemic. Are there certain things that people are buying more of or less of?
I can tell you what, people are sending in a lot of slacks. No one's wearing pants anymore because of Zoom. I am convinced of it. But I think people are now experimenting with more cozier home styles. There are a lot of working professionals who are working from home but still want to be cozy because they can be because they're working from home. So people are looking for a lot of softer, stretchier, cozier, warmer fabrics. And especially because it's winter, people just want to snuggle. Um, and I think my favorite trend right now is definitely, I would have to say, railroad queers. I'm really living for the overalls, long sleeve, baggy shirt, beanie look. And I'm inspired by my friend who has been wearing that for a week straight. That is my new favorite fashion moment.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many like I feel like think pieces about like how the pandemic is going to change how we dress, especially when it comes to like gender presentation. About uh, yeah, what have you observed with that?
I think people are starting to dress in a more gender neutral way because the things that we consider cozy and warm and stuff are sweats. They're t-shirts and jeans, or like sweat bottoms and a sweat top, or flowy dresses, and flowy dresses might not are really gendered, but they're still cozy. But those kinds of things are really not super gendered. Everyone wears PJs, everyone wears sweats, everyone wears jeans and t-shirts. And I'm seeing a lot more of that happening. And then on the opposite spectrum, I'm seeing very, very, very gendered like dresses. Most of my sales is dresses. Almost 100% it's dresses and tops.
Right. What do you think people are, do you have any idea of like what people are going to be dressing like when we come out of this pandemic? Like, do you think people are
I
going to,
wild. I
yeah,
hope it's crazy. I hope people come out of this pandemic and they're wearing sweats everywhere they go. Like, I want to see monster onesies walking down the street, pajamas as fashion. Give me pajama chic every day of my life. Everything I'm wearing is stretchy and cozy and soft, and it looks professional, but I tell you what, I can sleep in this. And I hope that's how people come out of quarantine, a lot more comfortable with themselves. And I think a lot of people, with how bodies are changing during quarantine, are going to come out of quarantine needing a new wardrobe and styling a larger body. And I think that's scary for people. I think that's hard for people, just having their body change and not knowing what to do with it. And I think Fat Fancy's here for that. I am here to see how people want to change their styles, maybe step out of their body's comfort zone and trying new styles. But I kind of just want to see a post-apocalyptic, futuristic wardrobe on everyone. So that's where I'm hoping 2021 goes. Post-apocalyptic warrior queen fashion for everyone.